Hello and welcome to Drifto. Now, contrary to how I usually do when I say it, I have for once jumped straight into the gameplay because this game is really just that simple. You have a car, you have a track, and you go for as long as you can. And along the way, as you slide more in more angles and take more angles, your multiplier builds up and you gain more score, which is the primary way of keeping track, but there is also a distance. Now, in terms of controls, this game really puts the simple in simple. You can control two angles. The first angle is, well, the less important angle is the camera angle, and my preference for which one I prefer seems to vary all the time. Anyway, I think I usually prefer this one. Anyway, and the other one is the steering angle. Now, as you can see, the car is counter steering. I'm not doing that. That is automatic. The only thing I can control is the angle itself. So, for right-handed corners, I am obviously turning right. And to speed up, I simply straighten the car out, and to slow down, I just increase the angle, go more and more sideways, and that's kind of it. There's a selection of cars. There's actually quite a pretty big selection of cars to choose from, but this is the starter one that I picked. Obviously, it is a starter car, and one I'm actually having quite a bit more trouble with than I expected. I don't know, it's probably just a skill issue, as it always is with me. But it could also be just the track. There's also quite a few tracks as well. And the first one is obviously the Touge. Mainly based off of one's initial D, maybe not. Who knows? It does have plenty of hairpins. It is infinitely generated, procedural, well, as far as I've been able to reach, at the very least. I do love, oh god, please, I do love the sheer simplicity of it. You just hop in and drive. There's all these settings you have for the sounds, so the sound volume, and the car color. That's, well, obviously, there's a bunch of cars that I saw. Some are more interesting, ones I perhaps wouldn't expect, but it is a silly game. Well, it's a little game. The dev can afford to be a little bit silly, obviously. No harm in that, no harm in doing that. These hairpins are going to be the end of me. Right, let's go back. And let's try a different car. Now, for the most part, I've done my driving with the Miat, and it has always been the answer for me. But you know what, I've built up some money, I've done quite a few runs in my half an hour or so playing it. And you know what, let's check out some other cars. We have an EG Civic, front-wheel drive drifting car, and this one is actually, when I saw it, so what this is a Lancia Delta, but not the famous one, not the Group E S4, or even the Group A HF. This, judging by the front line, this appears to be the base model. Oops. Used for some kind of other racing, but these are obviously the Martini colors. So let's see how this one does. How the Delta does. I believe the original one is also front-wheel drive. But obviously, there's no need for that kind of distinction in this kind of game. You just hop in and go sideways. Now, there are 3 stats that I saw on the stats page, along with I initially thought it could be a torque curve or a power curve, but it does have a tire symbol next to it. So maybe there's some kind of relation to grip. But yeah, there's 3 stats, of course: handling, acceleration, top speed. Perhaps having a higher handling stat could make the AE86, well, the legally distinct, aka unbranded, Hachiroku a bit better, maybe higher acceleration. That is kind of what I preferred in the MX-5 NA. But yeah, honestly, I could just play this thing a lot. I just, practice. I've tried another course. Oh, I think I saw. Yeah, it looks like in the car parks, at least on this one, there's also plenty of references. So I saw the Too Fast Too Furious Skyline, for example. I'm sure there's plenty of that. Is a cop car of some sort. I can't, of course, look anywhere but ahead or down. Yeah, it's just fun. Lots of little fun. It is quite cheap, available on Steam. I think it was on a discount, like down from a €5 to €3. I think it's definitely worth a €5. At least in my opinion. There are actually grass physics, like off-road physics. It's kind of just becomes a lot floatier. Like you can just steer perpendicularly, and for the most part it will actually just keep going straight on. Something you perhaps shouldn't want in a toge, an infinite toge nonetheless. Let's see how far we can get. See if we can. We are nearing my Miata high score, or MX-5 if you prefer, like I do. That said, Miata is easier to pronounce, but I am quite stubborn, because that is not the EU or Japanese market name. Well, the Japanese name for NA is Yunos Roadster or a Mazda Roadster. No! Is that the PB? Oh, it was so close to the personal best, 63 points. Now let's go for another run. Let's beat him, MX-5. What? Could be 2 kinds of there's no timer, of course. There's no like end. The only way to end it is to crash, which I'm very good at crashing. That part I have nailed down. Oh, too tight an angle for the first one. Yeah, when the double happens, you kind of have to be ready. I think I saw an XJ220. Okay, I know there's a Skyline in the cars, but I don't think there was a XJ220 Jag. Further up ahead. Oh dear. Come on, keep that multiplier up. It does go away quite fast. Like even when you are sideways, it can be bumped by, well, just keeping the angles going, and over time it does seem to build up. Like, it's a gradual build up, but you can pretty much quite easily keep it at least like ×3. That is a 220, I think. Yeah, at ×3, borderline ×4. Not for not bad. Not quite the Hasaga jump. That's close enough. Oh, careful. Don't go wide. That is a very easy mistake to do. Come on. Obviously, it does support analog controls. I am playing most of my racing games with a controller, Well, now that's the CX-75, that is in the game, not the X-20. Wait, is it? I can't remember. Not quite important right now, unless you really like either of those. I've completely lost my train of thought by getting distracted one too many times, so it's a habit. What was my personal best? Was it 48.50 or 38.50? I think it was 48.50, so we still have a ways to go. Oh, come on. Right, we are getting there. There's a lot of cars, so each drives slightly differently, at least among of the three that I've driven. So if you just want to cruise down endlessly, really, or just to kill some time, you know, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 days if you prefer to go for really high scores, and we are setting a new one, you can just as easily bam. We did beat the high score, so let's check out another track. Now there's this thing, like a American suburb, littered with trucks and trash. But let's try, what can we try? It looks like a highway. Let's pick a new car. We've got an Impreza, DeLorean, a Beetle, S14s, WRXs. Yeah, you know what? Alright, let's go. We've got one color. This thing's. We got some fog of each. This isn't the part of the car, but the fog in the background, that is the track. Each track has its own soundtrack, and yeah, I don't. We're currently driving a Krabby Patty, and boy, this thing has some pace to it. Obviously, this thing was designed by Gordon Murray, as you can tell by the inclusion of a fan in the rear bumper, which obviously provides an enormous amount of downforce, which is how we are able to make these turns so quickly. And of course, it provides it's also coupled to a CVT for the most part. Oh, got too cheeky, got too clever, tried to be too clever, drifted too much. Yeah, comes of course with a CVT, as you can hear by the drawing at constant RPMs, because well, that is the optimal RPM for peak power, and why would you need the engine to spin at any other RPMs, right? You do not. This thing is an engineering masterpiece. And really, we couldn't ask for anything better to drive. Around it. But yeah, this thing looks like definitely a more of a high-speed course, suited for which our vehicle is the best suited, of course. Our beautiful machine, speed and power. Actually could do with a bit more oomph. But obviously, it wasn't meant to be a top-speed machine, it was meant to be designed purely for driving pleasure. The most delicious driving experience you could have. You know, when you try to, when you discover something, a new gate opens, it goes like open sesame seeds. Oh, And yeah, a whole new world of driving pleasure is discovered behind the wheel of, well, you know, well, nothing's actually behind the wheel of it. This thing is so good that it basically drives by itself, which is maybe SpongeBob could have just, you know, not driven it and could have not gotten behind the wheel and let the masterpiece do the work, do the talking, and gotten his license that way. But you know, obviously gonna have some character flaws for an otherwise perfect character. But this thing is a beast. Come on, let's see, can we hit a 10 multiplier? Or we... I think we can hit the wall more easily. Come on. That was so close. Come on, just a few more tight corners. I think 9 is the max. Because I could have sworn I hit it into... God, bloody hell, that is really hard to get maxed out. I do think 9 is the max. Come on, give me that. Yep, 9 is the max, and we have close shave. The perfect agile body structure of this beautiful piece of engineering helped me stay away from the walls and not crash into anything, ending our run prematurely. Obviously achieved by having the minimum overhang possible, where nothing is outside of the wheelbase. Now that is clever engineering. You wouldn't really find that kind of thing anywhere else. Right, 20k seems easy. That said, I think this track is a little bit too wide. Of course, not to squander this, not to slander this rather magnificent piece of achievement by the great designer Mari. It wasn't meant for this. Something with more power. That is the true beast able to make the most use of such a wide track. So, gotta be honest with you all, this is... I could genuinely do this forever, I think. Until the heat death of the universe, or... entropy takes me and splits me apart into atoms. And we're maintaining a healthy ×9 multiplier. I think that could be the challenge, not let it drop below maximum. That would involve a lot of going sideways. As the wonderful, probably Cosworth to an engine drones on at a steady RPM. Unfazed by what the wheels are doing, it just does its job better than anything else. Friction truly is a completely meaningless thing to such a perfect marvel of science. Ah, bloody hell, I saw it dropped an 8. I can't live with the shame. Right, that was 25 kilometers. Let's check out what else here we got. We have a what looks to be a dockyard, Tokyo, or some kind of something Tokyo Drift inspired. A racetrack. What looks like whatever mountain pass with rock hazards. Rainbow Road. Oh, we have an Outrun Road, of course. A skiing course. And among the other cars, obviously there's the Evo, there's a news van, an RSX or an Integra DC2. The Drift King's 350 said a Toyota Celica GT4. Selection is quite vast actually. We have even a modern rally car. I think that's an FC. Yeah. Our late Group B Quattro, or maybe Pikes Peak version. Obviously, we have the Valeside RX-7 and NSX. I think that's an M3. You know what? I'm not entirely sure what this thing is. Is that? Yes, it is. Oh, an 037, one of the most beautiful cars in existence. A Testarossa. And that's kind of it. Click on kind of mark, and the ghost of Akina has come to visit us. But yeah, that was Drifto. It is an incredibly simple game. Tons of fun. Just see how far you can take it, how far you can be bothered, really. But yeah, that was that. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, perhaps even subscribe. Either way, thank you so much for even watching, and I hope to see you again some other day. Goodbye.